Here's where I am currently on the Moogle polystyrene drawing project. This I did within the past few hours during the early night period. These dots are in preparation for me to draw the nose of the facial features based off of the reference image. The rest of what I did, I either did during the first hour or so of today before going to bed, or during the morning after waking up to the 8 in the morning alarm I set. And Mom coming over to Dad's place. Around 9 in the morning in order to pick me up from Dad's place and drive me to work at Wegmans. Around 9 in the morning, I had two Jimmy Dean breakfast sandwiches that Mom brought over from her place to Dad's place. And microwaved. Though because she forgot the directions for cooking those two breakfast sandwiches, I recall she microwaved the sausage patties, the egg patties, and the buns of those sandwiches separately. Essentially both of those sandwiches at once, but the sausage patties, then the egg patties, and then the buns in that order. I think it was 30 seconds for the sausage patties, 30 seconds for the egg patties, and then for the buns, she set it for a minute and I let the whole minute pass. Even when she said I could stop it at about 30 seconds. The result was lukewarm sausage patties and egg patties and hot but not scalding hot buns. They were delicious. I recall having a cup of plain coffee during the hour or so between me, hour and a quarter between me waking up for today and starting the drive. Mom driving me to the Wegmans I work at. I started my shift at 9:30 in the morning and ended it at 6 p.m. I took my lunch at 4 p.m., had 2 peanut butter and jelly sandwiches that Dad prepared, and a kombucha spritzer that he packed. Into a plastic bag. That originally had a loaf of bread in it. If I recall correctly, those peanut butter and jelly sandwiches were prepared in the morning. Before he left for work. And at one point while I was working, I think, shortly before I took my first, sometime before I took my first 15-minute break, I recall it being around 1:45 p.m. From the exotic bananas, that cardboard box. There were a bunch of baby bananas. And while I restocked from that, there's some of the individual baby bananas from each bundle. Minority of each bundle, but still a significant amount, seemed to be bruised and mushy, so to a considerable extent, so I had to pull them. Making quite a few trips to the produce holding area. Thankfully, the produce holding area is pretty much right next to where the produce section is. At times it squicked me out a bit. Kind of grossed me out a bit. And in the process, and my cut-proof gloves, and my work shirt, I wore the orange/yellow one today. It got a bit dirty, so I had to wash them off a bit. And shortly before I took my second and last 15-minute break, around 5:30 p.m., the power went out again. About 5 or so seconds. This time, while I was loading white potatoes from the produce holding area onto the cart, a cart I designated as my cart. So I could, using a cup holder that had been put on it, place the thermos of coffee that my dad had prepared for me, which I sipped at from 9:30 in the morning to about 12:15 p.m. And from which I had my cutter left on the top level of that cart, within a sort of compartment separate from where you put the produce you intend to restock from. As I feel it's unsafe to keep a sharp tool within one of your pockets. Prior to that, for me, it was within my right pocket of my work pants. And I did what I did with the thermos, as otherwise I most likely would have had that coffee around 1:30 p.m. And I felt that would have been too late to have coffee, as by the time Mom got me to the Wegmans I work at, it was pretty much time for me to start my shift, so I didn't have time to sip at the thermos before my shift. Though, after Dad picked me up at 6 p.m., after doing some grocery shopping, primarily getting a bag of wavy, generic Wegmans branded potato chips, I saw my dad during the few minutes I had left of my shift after my second and last 15-minute break ended. And when I saw my dad, after he called my name, I introduced him to two of my coworkers. An older man and a female coworker who I feel is either a supervisor or definitely at least a more experienced coworker than I am. I recall roughly from 8:20 p.m. To about 10:15 p.m. I watched till halftime the first football game of the regular NFL season between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Detroit Lions. During that time, making some conversation with my dad, and we shared the chips Dad got and a smallish tub of French onion dip, the usual Bison brand that Dad always gets from Wegmans. And then at halftime, we both had one of the vanilla drumsticks from that box Dad got the other day. One of those ice cream cones that I just had. It was good to spend some time with my dad after my shift at Wegmans. And during my first 15-minute break, I had my usual 3 mild cheddar cheese sticks. And during both of my 15-minute breaks, I had a paper coffee cup filled with cooler water.